tutorial, the Grand Prix layout. This is 15 turns. It is 2.67 miles. It takes good 3-4 laps to get the tires completely warm here. There's passing opportunities are all over the track. There's lots of areas to attack. You know, they're abundant. The front straight, you'll see people swap position all race long. Between 4 and 8 can be easy place to pass if you get a good exit out of 4 before you enter 8. Don't want to be going side by side in 8. Really, it's pretty sketchy with all but the fastest drivers out there. Also see lots of passings in the 10 and 11, and then the straight between 11 and 12. 10's a pretty tricky corner, a lot of track fall away. You know, I guess it's kind of off camber on there. It's kind of high speed, but you're slowing way down. Kind of a really tricky turn there. The track is super wide, so we're going to see all different types of lines out there. You know, it can lead to some bad habits because it's so wide, but it also gives you opportunity to make a mistake and be able to recover fairly well as long as you're not next to someone. Turns 12 and 15, 12 through 15 are all pretty tough. I struggle with 12, 13. Sometimes I feel it, sometimes I don't, and I'm a little bit slow through there. 14 I'm pretty comfortable. 15 I'm comfortable as well. 15's a lot easier. The newest tire model, you know, from 2-3 seasons ago, used to be very careful how line taking through there and how you got on the throttle and how you unwound the wheel. Now it's much more forgiving. So weather on this lap was 78 degrees Fahrenheit for air temperature, 109 degrees Fahrenheit for the track temperature. The winds were 2 miles an hour, so basically nothing. This is a 154.327. The setup is 52% brake bias. Yeah, I've gone back to 53 and 52 on here, both of them. SPO is 5, tire pressure 25. ARB is at 8 down here. So let's go through. We'll watch a lap going around, kind of see what it is. I've got the gear shifts in here so you can see which gear I'm in. I'll leave this overlay up so you can see the inputs for brake, throttle, and steering, and let it go. All right, so that's one lap around. We'll go ahead and get back in here, come around. We'll just walk you through the lap as we come through here. Front straight again, you get a good drive out of here. There's an opportunity to definitely pass into turn 1. So I wouldn't block it or try to move over there. It's one of the things. Just keep going fast here. As you're coming down here, I'm looking at this white line right here. It's right where I'm going to start going to the brakes. It's right out that white line. I'm starting to get off the throttle. I'm going to get on the brakes fairly heavily. Going to go, threshold 60% and then sort of come off of that. You're downshifting at the same time. You're getting a little bit of car rotation inside of there. You don't want to hit the inside curb down here. You want to get just down there. It's kind of a late apex in here. You'll see as I come around here, this color change in here is right where I want to start getting really close to that curb. So I'm going to shoot out. I'm going to track all the way out to the left. And you can see how quickly you're getting back on full throttle. My goal is that before that asphalt change that I should be very near full throttle. You're full throttle all the way out of here. You're going to track out, a little bit of extra track on the left to use. You stay left. This is going to be a lift here, no brake. You can see there's no brake in here. It's just a lift to get that back end to rotate, and then you're back on throttle again. You kind of sacrifice getting off to the right here. There's no reason to go too far off here. You start losing some of the banking on this turn. So the critical thing here is your full throttle, and right at the end of this, just after the back end of your car gets past this curb here, you're going to get off the gas and get on the brakes. You're going to downshift, get the car kind of settled in here, and then start getting that turn in. A little bit of brake to keep the rear end rotating on here. It's kind of a late apex on here. You get a whole lot of banking as you get back into here. So as you come through, I'm going to apex way back over here, about at the end of this wall is where I should have that apex. So you can see I'm right off that end of that wall when I'm apexing. Getting right up, you can touch the curb a little bit. It will kick you out, so you don't want too much of it. But you can see you're getting back on the throttle way back here. So I'm on the brake, trail braking slightly. About when this curb comes up here, I'm getting off the brake completely, and then I'm going to start getting on that throttle about right now. Gently smooth on the throttle until you're full throttle. Come out and use the curb all the way to the right, and then you're going straight down here. Stay to the right. Keep this as straight as possible as you're coming down. You want to just maintain your speed, not scrub too much with your turns. Stay tight up here. This again is just a lift. There's no brake on here. So as you see, you're coming way out to the left. I guess I did brake a little bit on here. I've been experimenting without braking on it. So as you come up here, your turn in is really starting way up here. Put a little bit more. I have just a little bit of a rub on the brake, and then I glide a little bit, and then back on the throttle. Come down and keep your tires close to the right. I came off a little bit further than I should have. You can come down here and use a little bit of the curb on the left. If you get this really well, you won't have to use much of that curb. You'll come out right to it, but that's going to keep you really tight on the left. There's no reason to come really too far out to the right. One thing you want to do is you're setting up your next turn right at this little kink here. So this is going to take you into turn 9. This is a really deceptively fast turn. You're coming right up here. You're going to lift. You might brush the brakes just a little bit. As you can see, I have just a slight brush of the brakes. I'm lifting the throttle right before I get there, and then my turn in is right at that point. You get a whole lot of car rotation, and then you're getting back on that throttle right as you come up to here. So I'm starting to apply throttle right here, really smooth, full throttle as I come through here, tracking all the way out to the left and staying left, left, left. Again, you scrub. This is hard. There's not a whole lot of markers on here, but it's kind of, as you're coming up here, you'll see these marks right here, these brake marks right up here. That's where I start to lift, is right when I'm getting to those brake marks. I get a little bit of a brake. I downshift it to entice the rear end to slide just slightly more, and then back on the throttle. You're going full throttle, coming all the way out using that curb. You'll see a lot of folks are coming way back to the right. I think I'm a little faster if I hit that turn perfect and I can get out to the right and come around the next corner, but I'm more consistent when I don't go quite as wide here. Also, when you go wide here, it entices people to try to I won't call it nose bomb, but they have less distance to go. They might be carrying more speed. They'll get on the inside. They'll compromise your line. they'll get a drive on that corner. So it's just something to be a little bit careful with. So as we come around here, see I brake in, I get the downshift again to get that rotation, and then I'm coming back on the throttle super early, and then I full throttle. I go out only as far as I need to whenever you take that kind of shallow entry. Whenever you take that wide entry to maximize the corner, you'll come quite a ways out here, which also means you're going, further distance along the track. Um, I think, like I said, I think it's probably a little bit faster, but compromise track position if you've got someone right on your tail. As you shoot down in here, this is where I struggle the most. This is a great passing zone right in here. You get people to go in on the right hand side. If you're trying to chase people and you're not fighting for position, I wouldn't recommend going to the right hand side of someone here. You'll surprise them, get wrecked, or at worst case or best case, you're just compromising both of your time and you're falling further back. So on this one, I take this corner a little bit different. I have a little bit of problems with it. If you can get your left tires up on that curb, get the brake in right as you enter the curb. So you're going to brake down fairly low. You're going to get the car rotated and then shoot across this curb right here. You can take actually a little bit more of that curb, I think, without getting an X on there. I slow down a little bit too much in here still. You can carry a little bit more speed through here, which then allows you to, your minimum speed through this entire turn is slightly higher, thus you're slightly faster. But as I come over here, I'm downshifting. I come in, I get back on the throttle, full throttle all the way out to here, shooting straight down here to the left-hand side. I'm looking as I come down here kind of for this little bit of a change right here where you have this little curb outside the white line. That's where I'm gonna lift, and sometimes I brush the brakes a little bit. Sometimes I get a good enough lift on there. Um, Depending on how fast I come out of 13, I will upshift. Sometimes I won't upshift. I'll stay in the I think it's third gear through there. Sometimes I'll get in the fourth and have to downshift. You'll see on my timing on here which gear I'm in. I guess yeah, I'm in third gear here. So sometimes I'll upshift into fourth right here. But you'll see I get off the throttle, and right where that starts to change right here, where you have some of the curb out here, is right where I start that turn in. I'll even go a little bit deeper now sometimes than I show in this lap. But I'm starting that turn in. I'm off the throttle. There's no brake there so far. Getting off the throttle, and then I'm going to start getting on that throttle as soon as the right tires kind of get into that grasscrete. They start throwing that throttle back. Trekking out all the way to the left. Be very careful here. You do not want to get your tires much further than this off, just because it will slow you down and you'll end up being out here and it's a messy, bumpy ride. Here, you get around this corner. It's no longer tricky. It's just shift, minimize how much tire squeal you have, so scrub. Come all the way out to the right and shoot down. And that's the lap right there. It's a 154.367. Not great lap, not horrible lap, 327. But one of the things that we run the league, the Sunday Night Skippy League. I run some of the public races. One of the things, be careful on this track, especially where there's a whole lot of places to pass, is, what are you fighting for and when are you fighting for it? I see a lot of people fighting for positions early on, yet they don't know if they're really faster than the car in front of them, or they just have that draft, or they're just putting a nose in, causing you to, be fighting over fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth position, losing contact with, 1 through 3, 1 through 4, and then all of a sudden, the best you're going to do is fifth, where if you let everyone kind of settle down, get through the first few laps, the tires warm, as long as the cars aren't, pulling away in the front, it's usually not worth, unless you really have a clean pass, like on this front straight, on the between 11 and 12, sometimes between 4 and 8. You don't want to compromise each other. And if the person has the inside line, or has a substantial overlap and they're passing you, it's not worth fighting them through the entire corner unless you want to continue to fight for sixth, seventh, or eighth, and don't really want to catch up to the first, second, and third. Other thing, you'll end up seeing you got a lot of folks that are over driving the car, so just be careful with that. drive the car too hard, I do it at times, and I have to kind of check myself and think about it. Uh, you're going to get slower. You're going to be driving right at the limit where you can't adjust for either your own mistake, which I make tons of mistakes every lap, or someone else's mistake, and then you collect another person and you're wrecked and it's into the race. So it's one of the things that, you've got to balance. If I can drive at 9 tenths and be safer at the end of the race, I get a chance to finish the races. I get to learn something from the people in front of me, and then all of a sudden, your 9 tenths is going to be a few tenths faster. Translates to faster lap time, and then you're going to be, not as, I'll say, out of control, or not as on the limit to where you just can't recover from other people's incidents. So, that's about it. Check out my webpage, Two Labs Racing. If you have any, if you looking for some, league racing, we do a 40-minute race with limited fuel, requiring a pit stop on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Uh, reach out to us. It's a Sunday night Skippy. You can reach out to Jason Bice or myself, James Hauser. Just join the league if you have questions. We have an active Discord community. Got some of the top racers in the Skippy that have joined us. It's very competitive, and there's racing all the way from the first place to nearly last place. Except for some people sometimes have an incident or two, or run out of gas. But I mean, there's racing throughout the entire pack. We've got everyone from folks that are up there alien times, all the way down to folks that are just looking for some clean racing that they can't get in the pub racing. We just ask be respectful for others. It's a 40-minute race. If you race with us, there's no reason to stick your nose and dive bomb people. You can work yourself out. You got a pit stop to do as well. So there's lots of different strategies going on, and lots of people to race and have a good time. So if you're interested, look us up and join if you'd like, and we'd be happy to see you out there. That's also, not all of them are broadcast, but quite a few of them. We have a broadcaster that volunteers, not a professional, he volunteers his time, and there's several folks that work with him, so he's got anywhere from 3-4 people in the broadcast booth doing the race. It's interesting. It's nice watching the race afterwards. You can stream it on Twitch or YouTube and put it up on the big screen, and see what you're doing, share it with friends and family. They understand what you're doing. It's kind of a neat little thing, and we don't pay for that as a league. It's offered right now by Chris Morrill, so it's great, and we appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you out there on the track.